Hey guys, forgive the rough cut nature of this video. It's not going to have my regular level of production quality. I just wanted to get some content out for you as quickly as possible. I'm taking a look at the dev server for the Winged Lions update. It's going to be coming to War Thunder sometime, I don't know, probably before the end of the year. This is a very first look. I'm going to go through, it's going to be a little longer probably. I'm going to go through all the different new aircraft that are coming out. And we're going to take a look at the end at the Israeli tech tree. We've got the whole tech tree to look at now. So that's going to be interesting. Stick with it. We're going to go through all these, and hopefully, once the update is live, within a week or two, I'm going to try and get a full update of all of these aircraft out to you in my regular format. But until then, let's take a quick look. This first one we're looking at is the Republic F-105 Thunder Chief. There's been a lot of hype about this in the War Thunder community for quite a while. People have been asking for this aircraft for at least a year or three, and it's finally in the game. This aircraft, as you probably know, saw extensive use in the Vietnam War, and in War Thunder, it's classified as a bomber. It comes after the B-57. It's got a ridiculous amount of air-to-ground ordnance. It can carry 3,000-pound bombs, for when you absolutely need to sink an aircraft carrier or something. It's got an upgraded version of the Bullpup air-to-ground guided missile. It's got a bunch of sidewinders. It's got a gun. It's got a full ballistics computer for everything. And it's got radar. So this is going to be a really interesting aircraft to see once it goes live. Okay, this one isn't so much a full aircraft, but it's a new guided weapon. It's the only new guided weapon that's being added standalone, not connected to a new plane. It's the only one I'm going to present. This is the GBU-15V1B. It's a TV-guided bomb that's being added to the F-4E. So this is going to add some interesting new air-to-ground potential to the F-4E, new TV-guided bomb, and it's huge. Okay, next up is the MiG-27K. This is being added into the Soviet tech tree. It's an updated version of the MiG-27 that's already there. The primary difference is that this one has laser-guided bombs. It also has some extra weapon loadouts, and again, there's a lot of disclaimers that the loadouts and everything are subject to change. The memo I got about the dev server stuff here was very clear that all these loadouts are not finalized. But this one has some really interesting multi-role loadouts that are going to let you load up on like a whole bunch of laser-guided bombs and R-60Ms. So we'll see what happens with that. This is going to be an extremely powerful aircraft, at least I think, for close air support once it goes live. Interesting difference between this and the regular SU MiG-27M that's already in the game right now. The Laser Seeker does have some rearward visibility, so you can overfly your target without losing your laser lock, and your laser-guided bombs will still track. So this is going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Okay, this is an aircraft I've been personally looking forward to for a very long time. They added the Su-22 M3 as a new squadron vehicle for the Soviet tech tree. This is an upgraded export version of the Su-17, and I'm particularly excited about the weapon loadouts. This has weapon loadouts that include laser-guided missiles, R-60s, and gun pods. It's got a huge selection of different options for taking like air-to-air missiles and air-to-ground missiles and good combinations that the regular Su-17 didn't have. It's got a good mix of like the gun pods in with some of the other armament presets, and it's got countermeasures. So that's going to be a huge addition for this aircraft, and it's a squadron vehicle. So even if you haven't researched all the way up through the jet tiers, you can get working on this just by joining a squadron. The Su-22 M3, I am very excited for. Okay, so this one's kind of an interesting addition to the game. This is being added into the Chinese tech tree to fill a gap in their lineup. It's the LA-11. This is actually a prop fighter that came into service after World War II. It was supposed to fill the gap until the new jet fighters were ready to enter service. So it'll be really interesting to see how this kind of fits into the prop gameplay once it goes live. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the Israeli tech tree. We finally have the full version of the initial lineup for the Israeli aviation tree. I'm going to leave this up on the screen in case you want to pause it and take a look at that. The first one that we're going to be examining is going to be the Nesher. This is actually an Israeli derivative of the French Mirage 5 jet fighter, which was an upgraded version of the Mirage 3 with some additional air-to-ground attack capabilities. This one has some interesting selections of missiles. It's got, air-to-air missiles, the two wing-mounted pylons for the chaff rear and the sidewinders. It's also got a good selection of air-to-ground rockets and air-to-ground bombs. No air-to-ground missiles or anything like that yet, but it's going to be really interesting to see how this one fits in. In real life, it was used not only as a ground attack aircraft, but also just as a dogfighter. I mean, it was literally a true multi-role aircraft. So I'm going to be pretty excited to give this one a full review when the time comes. Next up is the A4E Early. At a quick glance, this looks very similar to the A4E that's currently the Israeli premium jet aircraft. It's slightly downgraded. Some of the weapon loadouts aren't quite as robust. But, if you're familiar with the the A4 and War Thunder, what you see is what you get. It's another version of the A4. I think, except of course this one's in the tech tree. This is not a premium vehicle like the one that we've seen so far. So I think for a lot of people, this one's probably going to get a lot of heavy use as one of their primary grinders. But we'll see what happens once everything goes live. Next up is the Meteor Nf11. So this is exactly what it looks like. It's a version of the Gloucester Meteor with a huge radar system mounted in the nose and a second seat for a radar operator. An interesting feature of this particular version of the Meteor, because the nose is full of radar equipment, the cannons are mounted in the wings, and the cannons are actually mounted very far out in the wings. So this is going to be one of the few jet fighters where gun convergence settings are going to end up being extremely important. So I'll also use that as a shameless plug to encourage you to check out my video on gun convergence in War Thunder. Okay, this one is the Super Mystere B2 Sahar. It's basically an Israeli modified upgraded version of the French Super Mystere. They took a look at it and decided it needed more external weapon pylons, so that's what it's got. This version can carry combinations of bombs, rocket pods, and air-to-air missiles. So this is going to be a slightly upgraded version of the basic Super Mystere that you might be used to, with a whole bunch of external weapons added on in addition to the baseline set of cannons. This version does not have the chin-mounted tray of rockets, so other than that, it's a pretty standard Super Mystere B2, at least at a quick glance. Okay, this is the Super Mystere B2 Sambad. Not a whole lot additional to say about this one, other than that it's another earlier Israeli upgrade to the Super Mystere. This one also does not have the chin-mounted tray of rockets, but it does carry the external Israeli-made air-to-air missiles. So another Super Mystere in the lineup. Okay, this is the Vatour 2A. This is the Israeli take, again, on the French Vatour bomber. Now, the Israelis were a prolific user of this plane, and this one, the Israelis used not only as a bomber, but as an interceptor as well. So this version of the Vatour has the cannons, the internal bomb bay full of bombs, and it can take wing-mounted infrared-guided missiles. So this is going to be sort of an interesting aircraft once everything goes live. It's going to have some better air-to-air capability than the existing French Vatours, and also the internal bomb bay. So kind of excited to see this one. Okay, there are a bunch of additional prop fighters and some entry-level jets, like there's another Meteor and like the Mystere 4, that I'm not really going to take a look at in this video. They're basically just copy-paste, of some aircraft from other trees. And I mean, that's fine. Israel used them. They fit in well to the tree. The last one we're going to take a look at on its own, I kind of saved the best for last, is going to be the F4E. This was, I think, off the top of my head, called the Kurnas in Israeli service, and this is going to kind of be the big dog of the Israeli tech tree when the patch goes live. The Israeli aircraft industry, the Israeli aviation industry is legendary for their ability to take a foreign-made aircraft like the F4 or the F-16 and just upgrade it to the absolute limits of the airframe's potential. And in real life, the Israeli modified F4s had significantly better potential in basically every category, significantly better performance than the American delivered versions of the F4 that they started with. So it's going to be really interesting to see what this looks like when the patch goes live. Just playing around with it for a minute. This aircraft is extremely maneuverable. It has good acceleration. The weapon loadouts are very impressive. A huge set of multi-role selections, bombs, rockets, missiles, everything you would expect. It has the AIM-7E2, which I know a lot of people were curious to see if that was going to come in. The one thing it does not get still is a pulse Doppler radar. So other than that, I think this is going to be an extremely competitive aircraft, in the current top-tier jet meta. And I'm very excited about flying this out into missions and doing a full review on it. But that's all for this one. Stay tuned to the channel as we get further into the dev server cycle. I'll have some more content for you as more stuff gets made available to me. And I also want to take a quick plug to, if you don't mind, take a look at the survey I posted, trying to pull viewers' interest about additional content and maybe a series or two unrelated to War Thunder or something that I might be adding into the channel in the future. And as always, thanks for watching.